Friends and neighbors, welcome to episode 17 of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We're here at the underground recording studio near the site of the formerly where the velodrome was. That's where we is. We got producer Grimy watching the front door, and of course, we got the man who on his last day, his day of graduation, got his vehicle broken into at the U of W. Would you like to share your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, do you really want to hear my thoughts on that? Yeah, I don't know, man. Finally got out of that place. 4 years of just throwing money out the window in that place.
Wow.
I became a pretty good pool player by the end of it. I mean, we were good at that, windjammers like we talked about last week.
The pool tool?
Yeah, the pool tool. Thank you, Neil.
Yeah. The elevator wrestling matches?
Oh, yeah. We learned a lot. It wasn't educational or anything, but we learned a lot. And
on the last day, you had to be at that forsaken place.
Yeah, graduate and get a brick in my window at the same time. It was fantastic.
Oh, West End, Winnipeg, how we love you! Oh my goodness, we got a lot of sports to talk about. We got a lot of Winnipeg sports to talk about. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform, and call to action this week. Leave a comment. Look for us on social media, Ray, Benny Sports. We want to know what former Blue Bombers you'd like to hear or see on Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We want to get some interaction here, and maybe we can deliver for these fans. What do you say, Benny?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so let us hear what you think and reach out to us, guys.
Yeah, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Like, subscribe, comment. Which Bomber, former or current, would you like to see as a guest on Ray and Benny Talk Sports? And we'll get the engines moving on that, see if we can fill a few of those requests. But let's get into it, brother. And let's start off with our Winnipeg Jets. Since last we met, they had a rough couple games against Florida and Vancouver, 5-3, 5-1. Jets Nation was going the Twitterverse. Oh my God. I hate Twitter on the best of times, but when the Jets are doing poorly, like a 6-game losing streak, I can't stand it, man.
It's a great place to go and check things out and then quickly close it down because you're not getting anywhere on there, or you're just going to leave even more angry, or you're going to be like, what are you, an idiot? It's like,
Absolutely. I have to cross my fingers and sit on them, not to type anything in there. It's painstaking, but things are also sunnier in Jets Nation all of a sudden after one win against a good team in St. Louis. Where do you see this team going, brother? I'm still hands in the air. I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't think we still know what we're getting here because, like you said, those two games against Florida, Vancouver, like Florida outclassed the Jets. You can tell the difference in how good Florida is, right? I mean, they're pretty much top of the standings in the NHL. So they're a totally different team. But when they go and play Vancouver, you're expecting a little bit different. You're not expecting to get thumped 5-1 by the Canucks, right?
Yeah.
You're expecting at least a close game, and the Jets probably to come out on top of that. When they lose a game like that, it doesn't seem like they're moving in the right direction at all. And I know they came back and beat the Blues, who are obviously a good team.
Very good team.
Eric Comrie played fantastic.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that out of him. I was like, oh my God, Dave Lowry, why are you starting Comrie in this game? Why didn't you start him last game against the Canucks or something, right? I thought it was going to go bad, but yeah, he stood up well. One of the biggest things to me is the way Hellebuck's really looked in the last couple of games, 2 5-goal games there against Florida and the Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a little bit shaky. He's been good, but he's also been shaky. And like we touched on last time, he likes to go roaming around, and sometimes that leads to bad things.
You're gonna get me started again, bro. You're gonna get me started again on that
and pucks in the net. So I still don't know what we have here with the Jets.
Yeah, and I don't think it was a mental thing with Hellebuck there. You and I both know that he's very strong mentally, the way he lets stuff just slide off his back. Yeah. So I think 13 games in a row, that's a lot of games.
That is, yeah.
Even if you do have like a couple of where you have a week of rest between them, that might even be a factor in getting rust and just not playing every second or third day. So I think he did have a well-deserved rest there where he can kind of breathe because we're coming into a big part of the season here. 11 games in 19 days.
Yeah. But they got another week off here, right? Is it the All-Star?
The All-Star break, they got a week.
Right.
And then after that, 11 games in 19 days. And they're pretty much all against those tough Central Division teams that we're chasing.
Yeah.
The only easy ones are the Blackhawks and Coyotes, maybe. What are your thoughts on this monster schedule coming up? We could have played in front of an empty arena, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, besides the Flyers tomorrow night, which should be hopefully a winnable game, but it's one of those ones where, you know, what team is going to show up, the Jets or the one that showed up against Vancouver. So hopefully they can get out one more win on that before we're getting a break. But yeah, that stretch is pretty ugly. I was looking at it as you got the Wild, Stars, Preds, and Blackhawks once you get back. And they have not fared well against the Wild or the Preds.
No.
You know, and the Stars and the Blackhawks probably give them a good run too. To me right now, so far, they haven't looked any different. Dave Lowry doesn't seem any different from PoMo. He looks almost the same. He is getting forced to play some of the younger guys because of all the COVID and injury situation the Jets are facing.
Yeah, that defense.
Dylan Samberg was looking pretty good. It's too bad he ended up getting hurt again. He's out for a bit. Perfetti, is, like we said, has looked good. Heinola had a rough start, but I think he actually looked pretty good against St. Louis. Maybe not pretty good, but
he's coming around.
Yeah, he looked a lot better, and maybe it's because he finally played. He wasn't playing
exactly.
You know, even with the Moose before, with the Manitoba Moose before this stretch where he got dumped into the lineup, then you put him with Beaulieu. So it was kind of a little bit tough. So
who is also injured.
Yeah, now he's injured too, so he's off there. But DeMello and Morrissey seem like they'll be back and probably get to play at least tomorrow. And then, like we said, the Jets don't play again for another week because of the All-Star break. It's only Kyle Connor going to the All-Star game. So
the All-Star game.
So we'll see. They've looked terrible at times, but they are going through a tougher stretch here. But like you said, it's only going to get worse. Should have played those games with the 250 fans if they could have, or the no fans, you know, instead of dumping this stretch where, you know, they're already struggling with injuries. How are they going to get through that tough stretch with all these injuries or stuff that's popping up? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, with the week off, I'm really hoping, pardon me, something that carries over from the last game was that great forecheck and great energy that they had. Yeah. They were giving them a tough time, St. Louis, in their own zone with the puck. And that's something I missed. Remember when we made that deep run to the playoffs against Vegas? That was a physical, fast team that went after the forecheck. You can tell there was a difference there. Yeah. And I understand it's a tiring style, blah, 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 whatever. It's a style that obviously works for this team. So I hope that's something that they keep moving forward, because it was such a different team against St. Louis.
Yeah, they look good. And the bounces went their way in that game too. Like even Stasny's first goal, you know, it's something you didn't see. Like, was it Florida or Vancouver? The goals off someone's skate and stuff like that. Like those bounces weren't going the Jets' way, or even, you know, when they were up 2-0 on Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, Hellebuck's out there playing the puck, you know, stuff like that. It didn't go their way. St. Louis game, it did, you know, and that's how they ended up scoring. And like you say, getting in there deep, forechecking right on the goalie right away, forcing him to make a mistake, and, you know, it bounced off of Stasny. So, you know, but that's the thing. Can they consistently do that? So far, they haven't been able to. And, you know, I hope they can get to that. And maybe that's what Lowry's trying to get them to do. But I guess we'll find out.
Well, we watch good teams like Nashville, Carolina, Florida, how they play physical and how they're always on the puck and how they create opportunities. So I think it's almost a must if they want to make any kind of playoff push. They got to use all the gas in the tank, whatever they have left, bro, because they're in trouble of missing the playoffs. I'm going to be honest with you. So
and that's the thing. If it keeps going down, maybe it's time to look at who to get rid of, get some assets in there or stuff like that. It's time for some trades, possibly. If it's another month of this, right? Because you got to make that decision. Andrew Copp's a free agent after this year, right?
Yeah.
Do you keep him in hopes of possibly making the playoffs and just missing out, or do you see if you can get some assets in return for him that you can build on for the future?
Yeah, if they're going to go that route, maybe look at Tampa Bay. They have that nice first rounder, Owen Tippett, that they've been dangling around. Copp would look good in Lightning, but I'm getting far ahead of myself.
Yeah, that's a little ways down there still. But
well, pardon me. What's going on? We've had some issues. I've had some issues. We've had some issues with Scheifele and the media and people getting down on Scheifele. And he was asked like about the identity of the team a week ago, and he pretty much had a clueless answer. But PLD, Pierre-Luc Dubois, has been the spoon that has been stirring the pot, the action in Winnipeg. What are your thoughts on, I don't want to say PLD versus Scheifele, but PLD's play as opposed to Scheifele's play lately and his impact on the team?
Yeah, it seems like PLD he's taken over for kind of Scheifele for me. in the way that Scheifele carried this team a couple years ago and would be that leader on the ice, getting involved in a lot, and being able to speak to the media. PLD, I mean, that guy's in every battle lately, and he's been hitting people like crazy. He's not afraid to take a couple punches to the face or give a couple punches. He's in there, man, and he's engaged, and he's got that aggressiveness that Scheifele was showing before, but has not shown at all this year. I know they're not far off in points or anything like that, but defensively, PLD has been way better than Scheifele to me. Scheifele still has his defensive miscues, or where he's skating back with, and slows down way before the play, right? And then like you said, answering that question, it didn't seem like a leader type of answer at all. And to me, PLD and even Stastny in the media lately have actually, almost calling out the Jets, but giving us a good answer of, what, this is what we got to do. This is not what we're doing. And, and to me, that's way better than what Scheifele is doing right now. So, it's a good debate. It's good to have those two centers for sure that could maybe push each other. Now let's see if Scheifele can push back a little bit on PLD, or see if Scheifele will respond to how PLD is playing.
Yeah, hopefully it is some good competition, because Scheifele's been on his own as number one center for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I think also what PLD is doing, he's kind of replacing Blake Wheeler's energy. You notice how before physically, how Blake Wheeler was up and down the ice, getting into the corners, like you say, and it really impacted the energy on the team. I think PLD is really providing that. Again, he's a spoon that stirs that pot. I say he's a guy that we should be kind of hitching our wagon to. Where he goes,
it could be.
We go.
But it'll be interesting what they're going to end up having to pay him after this season. And whatever he's going to make is going to end up making more than Scheifele's making, right? Just because of that great contract that Scheifele's on. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll see who they give the more minutes to as in the stretch run, to see if they're going to help make the playoffs, if PLD is getting more minutes than Scheifele or vice versa.
Yeah, play the better guy. That's what Lowry said. The minutes go to the guy who's playing better. So we'll see. Let's see it though, right? Yeah. Let's not just talk about it. Let's finally see it. And if these young guys are playing better, then the vets or the older guys, keep playing them. Right. If Perfetti's still a performing, guys, figure out how to get 3 scoring lines instead of 2, a checking line and a grit line. I'm looking forward to what Ehlers brings.
Yeah. So when you get Ehlers back, you get that option there to possibly run 3 scoring lines, drop Lowry down, put Stastny or Kopp back at center, and see what you can create from that. But we'll see. Yeah. I don't expect that to happen at all.
We'll get into line combinations in the next few weeks, folks. It's interesting. Always up and down in Jets Nation. You mentioned a good contract. Another good contract that just went out is your homie, Evander Kane in the Edmonton. Man, the storm clouds have parted here in Edmonton with a 4-game winning streak. Evander Kane getting a goal. What a difference a couple weeks makes for a hockey team, especially like Edmonton. They were worried here, and now they're not as worried.
Yeah, I mean, they're not out of the woods yet. They've won a few games. Here and there. Kane, he scored. But the thing is, you still didn't fix really what the issue was on your team, which is more of the defensive goaltending side. Yeah. I mean, now are you planning to end up scoring 7 goals a game like they did against Montreal to be able to win 7-6 or whatever? But once you get to the playoffs, it's always a different story anyways. Absolutely. There. But so to me, unless they fix their goaltending or their defense somehow before playoffs, they're still going to be probably one and done once they get in there. Maybe they'll sneak in around because they'll play someone worse than them in the Pacific Division right now. It's pretty weak, right? I say that right off the Jets come off a 5-1 loss to Vancouver, but
it's just being honest. It's just being honest. It's true. It's not like the Jets are the litmus test here.
No, so we'll see. I mean, Kane, to me, the worst thing that's going to happen to Edmonton here is Kane. Well, maybe it's not the worst thing, but it could be a good thing and then a bad thing. If Kane finishes off strong, has a good end of season with McDavid or Draisaitl, whoever he plays with there, and then they sign him to a long-term contract, because usually that second contract or that second goal round for Kane is where things start to fall apart for him and the team, right? And that absolutely that could bring them down further. Plus, now you're tied up in cap space. That almost went down.
Watch those microphones now. Camera last week, microphones.
Those hands are getting excited just talking about Kane.
That sounds kind of weird, but keep going.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what Kane can bring. It'll help him in the short term, but I still don't think it fixes their team enough to go make a deep run in the playoffs.
That's the thing. His talent is undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
But he just has a pattern of being ridiculous and drawing bad attention. So it's a shot again. That's the thing. When you're that talented in pro sports, you're going to keep getting shots.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I think Antonio Brown's shots have got to be done at this point, right? The thing with Kane is, though,
Baltimore.
Yeah. He had that press conference with the Oilers there when he signed Kane, and he didn't take any responsibility really for anything that happened in the past. He had one comment about, hey, I played in Winnipeg, I'm used to it, or something like that. So it's like, dude, start to grow up a little bit. Like you say, he's talented and he can score, and we'll see what he can do with McDavid. It might be pretty crazy what they can do together.
Physical. He's fast.
And he's physical. Yeah.
He has all the tools.
Yeah. Just got to get it up here a bit. Settle that down there. You thought as he gets older, maturity would settle in at some point, right? Still hasn't.
Trouble seems to find him. I wish him well, obviously. I hope the guy, does well, but if history is any indication, we'll see.
It's not gonna end well.
We'll see. We're praying for you, Edmonton. We're praying for you. Let's move on to some NHL Power rankings. We haven't done this in months. So let's go from 5 to 1. NHL Power rankings. At number 5, bro, I got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and they're the Tampa Bay Lightning. Vasilevsky in net. Stamkos is having another great year. So they're my top 5, no question. Who do you got at 5?
Yeah, it was hard to go away from the top 5 with almost what the standings are in the NHL right now. But to me, it's been impressive actually what the Pittsburgh Penguins have done. Crosby was out for a bit. Malkin's been out, but then they didn't have those 2 talented guys, but they're right up there in the standings right now. And maybe a lot of it goes to the way Tristan Jarry's been playing in net. Like his numbers have been phenomenal there. So I'm going to put the Penguins just, at number 5, just because of what they've overcome. And to me, I didn't think they'd be that high in the standings. I thought they'd be fighting for a playoff spot, but.
Who do you got 4?
Number 4, that's where I am going to put the Tampa Bay Lightning. Still having another strong season. They got a tough team in their division with Florida as well in there, but when you got Vasilevsky and all that talent up front and that solid D, they're always going to be in the mix. They're going to make a run.
At 4, I have the Minnesota Wild. They are just consistently good. There's no real holes in the roster. Kaprizov is having a great year. I think he's on an 11-game scoring streak or 7-game scoring streak. Fiala is on an 11-game scoring streak. They have 2 great goalies playing right now.
It's annoying.
So sorry. As a Winnipeg fan, we've seen them already, and it's one of those games where you're like, oh gosh, you kind of dread, because roster-wise they're better, physically they're better, and they're fun to watch.
When did they watch? Did they fire their coach last season in the middle of the season, or did this Dean Evanson take over before that? I can't remember, but
I can't remember when he was hired.
He's done a fantastic job there, and it shows you. No one was expecting much of this team, even last year or whatever, but it shows you what coaching can do and make a huge difference there. I know their goaltenders are playing well as well, but that coaching ever since he's came in there, they've been a tough team to play against, and they've handed the Jets pretty good losses in the last couple of years, or I guess not last year, but this year. I mean,
absolutely. At number 3, I have Carolina. Talk about another fun team to watch. There's a great quote somewhere. It might have been the Hockey News that they play playoff hockey like every game. And that's tough to beat, especially when you have Frederik Andersen having a great year, and like last year he was having injury troubles. He looked kind of iffy in Toronto, and look at him now. He's the backbone of that team as well with, what's his name? Aho. They're a tough team to play and the fun team to watch as well.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent. I got them at number 3 as well.
Nice.
And to me, it's Frederik Andersen. Like he's been quite the story there, right? You didn't know what you were going to get. And like you said, he faced a lot of injuries last year, which allowed Jack Campbell to come into that crease in Toronto. But Andersen, he's flipped it around and he's had a solid season. And I think they got him for a pretty good deal too. I don't think he's making much.
2 years, $9 million.
Yeah. So that's not bad for him, but we'll see what he can do in the playoffs. He usually has a rougher time in the playoffs, but playing in Toronto in the playoffs is always probably a little bit tougher when you got all that media and pressure on you. So,
well, that media is the reason why they released his ass.
Yeah. But Carolina's, they got a solid all-around team, man. Jealous of that team. They've been building that thing.
He's 13-1 since early December, man.
Yeah.
13-1. That's crazy.
And they built a lot of that team, right? Through the draft, and they just good drafting and everything like that. And they still got a lot of young guys there.
Yeah, when you're in Raleigh, California, just like when you're in Winnipeg, a small market, you're going to have a tough time attracting free agents without overpaying.
Yeah.
So good on them. Another small market team building through the draft. Who do you got at number 2, brother?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the Florida Panthers. Going back to Florida here with these teams, 2 in the top 5. Yeah. Again, solid all around team. We watched them play the Jets last week, and I couldn't believe, how much they dominated the Jets. I just noticed today, Jonathan Huberdeau, I know there's games missed between some guy, but he's number 1 in points.
Yeah, right? Man, he's having a heart year.
Yeah, that's crazy. And they're also 8-2 in their last 10. Sergei Bobrovsky is having a bounce back season after getting benched last year in the playoffs for Spencer Knight. He's turned it around. So for me, that they're at number 2 right now.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. Like watching them play the Jets, it was like totally different class. Being out physical. Oh, they are relentless physically. Yeah. They are relentless. It's like they'd never stop moving. No one's ever gliding down the ice. So I'm with you. Sorry, go ahead, brother.
No one's controller ever disconnects like Scheifele does when he skates back to play some defense.
Ooh, he threw it out there, bruh. He threw it out there. But that dude gave away a puck. Lucky Calgary saved him that last game.
Yeah.
And I think he sat on the bench for a while after that, if not the rest of the period.
That's right. Yeah, so, he didn't play the last few minutes of the period or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I'll give it up for Lowry. Way to sit his butt down. That's a good call there. So I also had Florida at number 2 and number 1. How can it not be? It better be Colorado on your side, bro. That's a 10-11 win streak team. My God, Kellen McCarr, like the guy's gonna have on pace for a 40-goal season. There's only Oren Coffey who've had 40-goal season as a defenseman. Talk about a relentless team. Ooh. Colorado, number 1 on my power rankings, brother.
Yeah, I got the Montreal Canadiens at number 1 on my end. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I'm gonna take my earphones out now. Better not be Montreal. Better not be Montreal.
Yeah, there's no question. I got Colorado there too. 10 in a row. And to think where they were at the beginning of the season, they were terrible or having a terrible time at the beginning of the season. Their goaltending wasn't quite up to snuff. And they've turned that around big time. And both their goalies, Darcy Kemper and Pavel Francois, have had good seasons and almost great seasons so far. And Nazem Kadri, he's number 1 in points on that team.
Isn't he? Yeah, man.
Yeah, but he's number 1 and he's almost up there and he's in the top 5 scoring in the NHL right now.
Yeah, I could not believe his comfort zone there, man. He's having an amazing year, and they've lost twice since December 5th.
That's
twice,
crazy.
Both to Nashville, once in overtime, twice since December 5th.
I'd kill for that for the Jets.
Yeah, they might be like too much information on my bubble. The power rankings, I had Pittsburgh Penguins, the Leafs, Flames, and St. Louis. They could have all easily been at number 5 in that. All of them are kind of running right now and feeling good. So those are our power rankings. Maybe we'll look at those again in another couple months before we head into the playoffs. Who knows? Playoffs? Playoffs? Lots of time still. But let's talk about the NFL playoffs. Another great weekend of football. 2 great games. Disappointing outcome for brother Benny. We'll get into that game second. But let's talk about the AFC final. What a game. Bengals, Chiefs. What a stunner. Yo, I've been cheering for them Bengals. Hooday. They're a fun team to watch again. What a game. What a game. And Mahomes was like no factor in the second half. Yuck. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, it was 2 different halves for Mahomes. He was unstoppable in that first half. You're like, they're never going to stop him. When they scored that 3rd touchdown, I'm like, this is it. Cincinnati has no answers. Mahomes is just going to go up and down this field all day long. It's going to be, 50-something to 20-something at some point. But to me, the biggest play was at the end of the half there when Casey went for the TD and got stopped instead of kicking a field goal. And the game flipped right there. Yeah. Cincinnati came out in that second half and just took over. And and luckily it didn't end in OT with Casey winning again the toss and getting downfield and scoring a touchdown without Cincinnati getting that ball. But
Bengals played defense.
Yeah, Mahomes looked average and terrible toss, and Cincinnati made him pay for it.
Yeah, that's what happens in overtime when someone plays defense. It's exciting, and they go and they get a field goal to win it. So that's the opposite side of it. Because I know I've been getting heat from people. Oh, they got to change the rules, whatever. I think you keep the rules as it is, and that's the way you play overtime. You stop someone and you get a field goal to win. But anyways, what I was impressed about this game was Joe Burrow in the second half taking off the ball two or three times when it mattered most. And he's just actually really good moving in the pocket all game long. Kansas City couldn't really get a good rush on him. And talk about rushes. The Bengals had a great, I don't know what the strategy was. If it was to three guys to keep Mahomes from moving around and let that, what's that guy's name again? Shoot, he got hurt later on in the game. Anyways, thank you. What a great game he had. He was a force and he couldn't be stopped. One-man wrecking crew on the one side of the line there. So, man, I just love watching these Bengals play. They're fun to watch. They don't give an F what anybody thinks. Zach Taylor, former third stringer. He made an appearance in the Grey Cup, right? Not in the game. He was on the roster.
Was he even dressed? Maybe he wasn't dressed. Did they dress three QBs? Because Cliff Kingsbury would have been the backup, wouldn't he even?
Oh, to Dinwiddie?
Yeah.
2007 to that Grey Cup?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, they're all on that QB staff there. Shout out to Zach Taylor. Exactly. Ex-Bomber. Got this live in Winnipeg for 1 year or whatever it was, maybe even a month. I don't think he was here all year, was he?
That was enough to be an effect.
Yeah. But like you say, Joe Burrow, man, after getting beaten up by the Titans last week for 8-9 sacks or whatever, and that O-line getting beaten up. Yeah, they came out with a great game plan to keep him upright and move him around. And yeah, he wasn't afraid to run when he had that open space. Whereas, like you say, with Mahomes was under pressure a lot. And in that first half, he was getting away from a lot of it and making a play out of it. But in that second half, it looked anytime he got away, it didn't look like he had anywhere to go or he was second guessing himself or whatever. There was times that actually Kelsey was open when he was scrambling and he didn't make that throw. So it's like, he's kind of second guessing himself there. And that's credit to the Cincinnati D for throwing him off his game.
Yeah. I'm going to be cheering for the Bengals in the Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest with you, man. It's just, even though it's sacrilege as a Steeler fan, get out of here. They're fun to watch. I love football. Who dey? Let's go Bengals.
Yeah, let them win their first Super Bowl. Too bad we couldn't get the Niners Bengals rematch from the 80s there. The trilogy could have been.
You want to talk about the Niners now?
Oh, still hurts, man. Should
we talk about them? I know it hurts, brother. I know it hurts.
We'll talk about them.
All right. I'll let you go first. That's your team, bro. Don't hurt yourself now. Go ahead.
Disappointing effort as a Niner fan. They had that game. Again, maybe it wasn't the cleanest of games and they probably shouldn't have been ahead when they were, but they had a chance to put that game away. The Rams did move that ball up and down the field, fairly easily early on. Stafford threw a pick. They got a touchdown. They missed a field goal. They got stopped on a fourth down. But then again, later on in the game, again, up and down the field, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, like Niners had no answer. They couldn't stop those two guys on D. And unfortunately, the D came up a little bit short when trying to make some plays. And they did have a chance to get that interception that
right in the middle of the field
gives the Niners the win, but Jakarski Tark, dropped it. And the thing is, he had tons of room in front of him to go. So that Rams D stepped up in the last two series of the game, made Jimmy look like Jimmy.
Jimmy G looked like Jimmy. Yeah. They stopped that running game too, bro.
Yeah, they stopped that running game all game long. And another problem for the Niners, they stopped giving the ball to Debo. I mean, he's your man. He didn't touch the ball at all, really, I believe, in the fourth quarter or late in this game. And to me, again, Kyle Shanahan gets the blame too. You're getting cute, man. 2nd and 1, get that first down, keep the drive going. No, okay, you don't get it. 3rd down and 1. Again, you're getting cute, and then you don't go for it on 4th and 2. To me, I think that was a huge play of the game as well, because I think McVay did that stupid challenge right before it where he thought Juszczyk fumbled. He didn't. He was out of timeouts.
Elbow down.
Yeah, you could see it in McVay's face. Like he was like, oh shit, what have I done? And Shanahan could have gone for the jugular there, and he didn't. And the Rams came back and ended up winning the game.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. I took San Fran because they were like 6-0, so I thought they're going to take one as well. They had home field advantage, so it was like you said, it was an ugly game, but it's still a good football game, a good hard
Yeah.
nosed football game that and props again to the Rams defense. They brought five that last play where Jimmy G gave it up. He probably could have just taken the sack rather than try to chuck it, but good for them. Good for them on sending five. That running back left, and that was a game right there.
That's the other thing, though. Take the sack, man. I know it's going to be 4th and 20 something or whatever, but that's better than chucking some windmill pass behind your back or whatever. And yeah, and you could say the running back could have caught it, but just don't throw it.
Yeah.
So it's a disappointing way to end. And I was hoping at least for a little bit of excitement or see Jimmy, not step up and do it, but he didn't. And hopefully, really, that's the end of Jimmy in San Francisco. And let's move on to Trey Lance and see what he can do.
Okay, I was going to ask you, hot take, should they move on from Jimmy G? And I guess that's a yes.
Yeah. Big time yes over here.
Yeah, I get you. Having a good quarterback is important. As a Steeler fan, I know. And I'm about to find out in a hard way when you don't have one.
Well, you can get Jimmy.
Let's move on to the Super Bowl. Quick hot take preview on this game, brother. Tell me, who do you think is going to win it and why?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I like their star power on offense, and I think they'll be able to move it on the Rams. Again, that O-line is going to have to block Donald and all that D-line for the Rams. And if they can do that, they'll have a great chance. I'm not too impressed by the linebackers or secondary besides Ramsey in Los Angeles for the Rams.
It's fine.
So I'm gonna go with Cincy. It'll be another close game. I don't see this getting a blowout or anything like that. And at the end of the day, these offenses probably won't put up as much as we think, and it'll end up 2017 or something like that. But I'm gonna go with Cincy.
Yeah, I want Cincy to win really badly. Though the one thing I think is this bye might hurt their momentum. I don't like the Super Bowl bye, to be honest with you, but with a young team like that playing off so much emotion, I think this benefits the Rams to be able to sit back with the older roster, get healed, be ready to go. So I'm going to go with the Rams. Hot take. I can change my mind next week if I want to, and I probably will.
Can't.
Says who?
Me.
I'll change my mind lots. I'll change my mind lots if I want to. Thanks, brother. So stay with us. Social media. We'll talk about the Super Bowl all day, every day until the actual game. So you might see me change my mind a couple of times depending on what happens, because I tend to do that. I don't care. So let's talk about some coaching, hirings, and firings before we move on from the NFL. So Denver got a coach with Nathaniel Hackett. Chicago got a coach with Matt Eberflus. The Giants got Brian Daboll, which I really like, and the Raiders got Josh McDaniels. What are your thoughts on some of these hirings, brother? Good, bad?
Has Josh McDaniels quit yet, or is he still there?
He's still there for now. Maybe he'll pull a Belichick before the season even starts and leaves.
Yeah, I am interested to see what he can do there. To see if he is anything like at all, if he can be a decent head coach or not. I don't expect it, but I am interested to see what he can do with the Raiders. I like the Daboll to the Giants. That's a good move there. I'm not a huge fan of the Bears one, just because Matt Eberflus is a defensive guy. If they get a good OC in there and he has a wicked season with Fields, then that OC gets a head coaching job and leaves. So it always makes it harder for that QB to get continuity. To me, I would have wanted to go offense there, but we'll see what happens. I think the bigger shocker, or I don't think we had this, was Sean Payton also retiring from the New Orleans Saints this week. That opened up that job, and they're still looking too. But that's an interesting one. He retired already, and probably be back in the NFL at some point. But so with some of these hirings, the Denver one, man, if you're hiring with him with the hopes of just getting Aaron Rodgers, you're screwed already. That's never a good reason to hire a coach. So I'm not a huge fan of that hiring. I just agree in regards to the Chicago hiring. Anytime Chicago's been good, Mike Ditka, Lovie Smith, it's always been a defensive coach. But as long as they get a good OC in there, I think they hired the Green Bay QB coach for their OC. Getsy or something like that.
Like what? What kind? How is he an offensive guru? How does he prepare? Get the F out of Aaron Rodgers' way. That's your QB coach. So I don't understand why you're bringing that guy in for just. I'm not lying, am I? Am I lying? That's
No,
the truth, man.
I'm sure that's what Rodgers is telling them too.
For
Get the
sure.
F out of my way. I'll do this.
Exactly.
I'll just call my own plays.
That's a mind-boggling hiring to me. Luke Getsy. It doesn't make sense.
As long as they have some kind of plan, though, just in case the guy does turn out, have someone else back there that can take over for him if he gets a job somewhere else or something like that, right? Yeah. Same with the Denver one. I don't even know why Rodgers would want to go to Denver. I mean, his easiest path to get into the Super Bowl would be the NFC right now. They've got some good teams. They've got some decent quarterbacks, but not like the AFC, man. The quarterbacks in the AFC are kind of loaded right now. Like it's top heavy on that side compared to the NFC
West.
Yeah.
Like you want to face Mahomes and Herbert and Carr twice each? Get out of here.
Yeah, man. You think you got a better chance of getting to the Super Bowl that way? Man, you're struggling right now.
In the NFC North.
He's making it there. Yeah.
You get Detroit and Chicago for like give me a break.
That's you stay where you are, really, if you think you have a chance, man.
Okay.
We'll see what happens there with Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't care. We have the Raiders and Josh McDaniel. Again, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I wish they would have kept what's his name? Bisaccia?
Oh, yeah.
Bisaccia. Yeah. Like, come on. The guy brought that team to the playoffs in turmoil with their head coach being fired, a couple DUIs, one that resulted in someone's death, and he still rallied that team to the playoffs. Like, why wouldn't you consider that? It doesn't make any sense. But at the same time,
not a big name. Not a big name for Mark Davis. He needs that. He's got they're in Vegas. You need kind of a Showtime name in there or something to get the fans amped up or the crowd going. I don't know, but
yeah, that's all they're going to be, a Las Vegas sideshow. Yeah. Davis is running. Like, give me a break. Like, oh no, I'm not going to say all the best of Josh McDaniels. I could care less. Whatever. So we still have openings in Miami, New Orleans, Minnesota, and Houston. What's the best job out of those four, bro?
You know what? I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins just because they have a QB who I think could be all right. They got some good wide receivers. They got a good D.
Oh, they do. That secondary is crazy.
Yeah. To me, the Saints would have been all right, but they don't have the QB, and then if you're bringing back Jameis Winston, the Texans, they're a tire fire. I don't know who even wants that job. The Vikings could be there, actually. The Vikings could be up there. They got the QB. They got a good running game. They got a decent O-line. But we'll see on their defense. Like Zimmer, who was supposed to be a defensive guy, never really got that defense going at all. So to me, I would probably put the Dolphins, at the top of that list.
Yeah,
not a very good list.
No, those jobs aren't very. Got the Jags. Come on, who wants to go to Jags? That ownership group. And same with the Dolphins for me is how much of that owner is willing to relinquish. He's just got to get his hands out of the kitchen. Stephen Ross. So that's why I'm going to take the Saints. I think organization-wise, they've changed with Peyton and Breeze, and hopefully that culture is still there. And if I was a good coach, I'd probably want to go there.
Yeah, if they can get a QB in this cycle, then actually, that would put them right at the top of this list of what team could have more success out of any of these ones right off the bat, right?
Yeah,
they just need that QB.
James Winston wasn't bad at the beginning of the year when they were playing.
He still makes too many mistakes. Like
he wasn't making the amount of mistakes with Peyton, like he was in Tampa Bay. He definitely got better.
No.
Well, we'll have to look at the stats. I'll bring him next week, and I'll show you how much better he is. But Harbaugh, who knows? That guy
Jimmy Harbaugh
tossed around. Another Jimmy good, Jimmy bad.
We'll see if he's just trying to get a raise out of Michigan here, or if he's actually interested in coming back to the NFL.
Actually, Miami would be a good spot for Harbaugh because he's a guy who needs control almost 100%. And unless he'd get it in Miami, he'd probably say no. So maybe Miami is a good place for Harbaugh.
Yeah, but you know what? He was in San Francisco with a owner that meddled in Jed York, and Stephen Ross is not going to be that guy to step out of it, right, and let Jim run that show or anything like that. So, maybe, he knows the GM that got hired in with Minnesota and the Vikings there because they were together actually for a bit in San Francisco. So he could lean that way if he can get along with that guy. But Harbaugh's a hard-headed guy too, so
we'll see.
Good coach, but hard-headed too, man.
All the best. All the best, Miami. We love you. Let's move on to the CFL. We got some signings, more signings in Bomberland. BC taking a shot at Kenny Lawler, offering him $250,000 a year. Thoughts on that, brother?
All I gotta say is get lost, BC. Like, what are you doing? Are you turning into Toronto here, just throwing money at guys, hoping they're gonna come? Like, yes. What do you got? That's almost 600,000 on 3 receivers with Kenny Lawler, Brian Burnham, and Lucky Whitehead. Where's your O-line? Where's your D-line? Like,
they're sinking themselves.
You're going with Rourke, who's a rookie QB right now, unless you're gonna dip yourself into that Mazzoli pool or Trevor Harris or something like that. And you're taking a chance that these 3 receivers are going to be enough to get you over the top and save your quarterback. It's terrible so far. Yeah. And I know hoping Lawler doesn't take it, but I also won't hold it against him if he takes it, because that's a lot of money.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, take it, man. Like, you're not going to make that kind of money in the CFL very often. $250,000 though.
Not as a receiver either, right? Like, I mean, especially lately.
What are they doing to the receiver market? Like, the receiver market, actually, the salaries should be lowering, because it seems like all these scouts are able to just pluck these American receivers out of colleges, and there's a lot of Canadian receivers that are good. So the talent pool is getting deeper and deeper with receivers. So it makes no sense to give a receiver $250,000 in the CFL.
So my question to you is, if it's so deep, why are the Elks signing a Darius Bowman and Manny Arsenault?
Oh, you didn't hear Chris Jones was hired and he does stupid shit?
Doesn't make sense to me. I mean,
I know.
Bowman's been out of the league for what, 3 years at least?
Yeah.
And he was old and slow when he was in Winnipeg. So, I mean, I don't know. And he couldn't catch the ball either. So.
That's why Milt wants to come back. He made that tweet. That Milt is coming back with all these old heads.
Milt, we'll take you back in Winnipeg. Come on down, man. Like Willie Jefferson says, come on down to Winnipeg.
We got a good receiving core. Even if Kenny Lawler does leave, like, if we go into this season with Wolotarski, who we just signed, Rasheed Bailey, who's a great receiver, underrated in my books, and also Darvin Adams, the experienced veteran who could still go up for balls when called for.
Don't forget Nick Damsky.
And look at that. I'm already convinced. Probably the greatest Canadian receiver in the game right now. Yeah. The Swiss Army knife of the CFL. Guy can run the ball, special teams, receive. We're good at receiver, to be honest with you. That means more balls for other people.
Oh yeah, and then you can find one other guy, that's out there already that's played in the CFL, or find guys out from college or wherever to come in and start learning the game. I mean, that's what they did with Lawler. They brought him in and he learned from it. Rasheed Bailey's getting there too with that, and yeah, $250 for a wide receiver is way too much.
Yeah. No disrespect to Lawler. No. Great season last year. Best receiver in the league, without a doubt. Deserves to be the highest paid receiver. But that receiver market's really being over-exaggerated or inflated for $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Don't forget Michael Couture also re-signed with the Bombers too. So
4 to 5 starters on the offensive line.
And then you got Jeff Gray to throw in there as a 5th.
Ooh, the CFL fans that are in Winnipeg are already fed up of what's going on. They're getting frustrated, man. But hey, if you have a good culture in Winnipeg, like we've built here, or not but
we had a little bit of help in it, right? We've been fans.
Yeah, we paid tickets and we yell loud. Yeah. So we have a piece of that, and we are community owned. So there you go.
There you go.
We talked about BC very quickly. The retirement of Mike Riley. I want a quick take from you on this. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback?
I would say yes. He's had a pretty good CFL career, won himself a Grey Cup. I mean, he won 2. One was a backup, though. He's 14th in the all-time passing list in the CFL, and not that far back from Dieter Brock from that. Grey Cup, like I said, he was the MVP of that Grey Cup. He was MOP in 2017. He's led the CFL in passing year in many different years. That very few quarterbacks have actually done. And he's got better stats than Dave Dickinson, who's actually in the Hall, and I know he'll have worse stats than some guys who aren't in the Hall even. But to me, I think Mike Riley should get in, maybe not first ballot, but at some point I would expect him to be in the CFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think because of the Dickinson mention that he will make it, because that precedent has already been set or made. Personally, I don't consider him a Hall of Famer right off the bat. Yeah, he has okay yards. You say he's behind Dieter Brock. Dieter Brock only played 5-6 years in the CFL.
Yeah.
Well, not 5-6 years, well, 7-8. So I don't know, man. I know he will make it in. I'm not too keen on Riley. I don't remember any of his signature games. Yeah. And
he was
leader
always a pain in the ass to the
CFL,
Bombers, man.
Yeah, that's not a reason to make it in the Hall of Fame, especially how bad the
No, I
Bombers
know,
were.
but I just remember when he was rolling, it was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
how
Especially in
bad
Edmonton.
is this game going to go, man?
Yeah, Edmonton was, oh my gosh, when he was there. Yeah, he was very good. He was very good. So happy retirement to Mike Riley. Look forward to seeing you hopefully on TV because that dude was a character.
Maybe he'll come back now with all these receivers they keep signing there in BC.
Yeah, maybe Chris Jones will reach out to him, eh? What a joke. That's good. Maybe they'll get Missoula. Who knows what's going on in Edmonton? I'll just sit back and watch the clown show. But they're a community-owned team, so I kind of cheer for them too. I don't know, whatever.
Not when they hire Chris Jones, though. That totally flips everything.
Okay, before we get into Chris Jones, let's talk about some more different Canadian football. The Canadian soccer football men's team dominating the U.S. team 2-0, brother. What are your thoughts on this team? They haven't cemented their spot in the World Cup, but boy, are they getting close. They are definitely on top, the CONCACAF.
Yeah, they're still top of the table and actually not that far off from clinching. Maybe 2 more wins or a couple losses by other teams here and there, and they're in. So I would fully expect them to make it. But yeah, 2 exciting wins over Honduras and yesterday against the United States.
Yeah,
that second goal game in, I was fist pumping the air just because the excitement to finally see them beat the US in a match like that. They haven't beat them in a long time in qualifying. I think it goes back to the 80s.
1980.
Yeah, and then they even in Honduras, they hadn't won a game in Honduras since 1985, the last time they qualified. So to go into that, to beat Honduras and then to beat the United States 2-0, at that early goal was huge by Kyle Lowry there. And and they had other opportunities, but yeah, man, to me, this is an exciting time to be a Canadian soccer fan. And even if you're not a Canadian soccer fan, get into this, jump on that bandwagon, watch this team. It's given some different excitement. And hopefully this will lead to, more funding for Canadian soccer and to show that, we can do this here. And man, they did this without their best player, right?
Yeah.
Alfonso Davies was out and they won those 2 hard games without him.
Yeah. They also did not have Eustachio and also Hutchinson playing the mid. So they're missing a couple pieces and they just dominated the Americans. And, what's his name? Props to John Herdman. What a coach, man. This guy has this team believing in a system and they are all in because despite what that American coach said, where's that quote? This Berhalter, this is what he said, bro. Quote, I think it was an entire team effort that was outstanding. We asked them to be dominant. We asked them to embrace the conditions, embrace the physicality of going. And I think we did that and more. It's hard for me to remember a performance away from home this dominant without getting a result. End quote. That was the American coach. Was he watching the same game I was watching, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I think they controlled the stats end of it. But, anytime it looked like U.S. might start taking over the game, Canada, got physical and took that ball back and brought it back to an even keel game, and even if the U.S. had those opportunities, they only ended up getting 3 shots on net, I think. So I don't know how you're calling it a dominant, effort or you dominated that game. To me, if you're doing that, you would get a lot more chances on net.
He's a fool.
Canada played the game, man. They played it physical. They didn't back down from any of the U.S. challenges or anything like that. Their goaltending again for Canada was fantastic. Another
save, eh?
Couple, even in the Honduras game, he made 2 saves. I think when they were only up 1-0 as well, in both those games, he came up with stellar saves to preserve that lead. And then Canada was able to get that second. So yeah, it's exciting time, man. Can't wait.
Forget about time of possession, man. Like Canada obviously plays a game where America, they can go side to side, back all game. Who cares?
Yeah.
But when they give that ball up, Canada, bang. And that 2 forwards that they were playing, Davies and what's the guy that scored, brother? I'm so good with names.
Laren.
Yes, Kyle Larin. Those two were out. Imagine when Alphonso Davies is back. This is a team that's going to... He's probably the best player in CONCACAF.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So sunny days in Canada.
One more game on
soccer.
Wednesday against El Salvador.
Yeah. Don't forget to check it out. Cheer loud. More than 970 viewers. Not 970,000 viewers on Sportsnet for this
awesome.
Game.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it was played at the same time as the Chiefs Bengals game too, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't watch that Chiefs Bengals game. I'm just saying. I just saw the end of
them going.
Look at this guy with 2 TVs making me feel bad.
One's a laptop. It wasn't a
TV. Let's go to Benny's Brickhead of the Week. Who do you got this week, brother? I look forward to this segment all week long. I'm like, who's this guy going to take? Who you going to take?
This is another combination award because it's hard to pick which one of these two. I guess one's a person, one's a team are the actual idiots in this situation. But my Brickhead of the Week is going to Gary Bettman and the Arizona Coyotes for even allowing them to start negotiations on playing in a 5,000 seat arena.
What a clown show.
Or even if it's 2, 3, 4 years before they settle on an arena, which probably won't happen anyways. But the fact that you would actually allow this in the NHL shows what kind of a joke league the NHL is to the other, 4 major leagues out there or 3 major leagues out there. So, Gary, you're the man this week. Brickhead of the Week for you, man.
Oh, thank goodness. That guy has been a clown show. How many labor disputes or disruptions has this guy had? He's not really grown the game. Why keep a team in Phoenix? Come on, man.
No,
use your brain.
Enough.
Because Austin Matthews came out of that market. You think it's going to flourish now? Get out of here, man. What a clown. Thank you for giving it to Gary Bettman, brother. Let's move on to friends and neighbors' favorite segment, Eat That Hot Dog. I'm going to go first. I'm going to give out a hot dog. There's that good music. I'm going to give a hot dog to Victor Cui, the new president of the Edmonton Elks. I think he's great for that town. For that team and also for that town. He realizes the impact of different cultures on sports. And man, as someone who's a child of an immigrant family, the Bombers were the very first Canadian Winnipeg institution that I attached to. So I understand the need of that and to open the game up. So props to him, new president of the Edmonton Elks. Sorry if I said that wrong earlier. The Edmonton Elks. Victor Cui, eat that hot dog, brother. Represent the Filipino nation. Sheesh. Is that still relevant?
I think that's gone, man.
I'll bring it back. You're up. What hot dogs you got to give, bro?
Well, let's go back to Team Canada there, and we're talking about their stellar goaltending. I'm going to give it to Milan Borjan. Dude's 34 years old. He loves playing in those sweats, but I don't know if it makes him Superman in those sweats. But
yeah.
Like I said, those 2 saves, when they're up on Honduras and they're up on the States were huge. It kept the game still 1-0, and he kept the team in it. And I don't know if it's because of his age compared to the rest of the guys, how young they are, that he can impart some wisdom on them. But to me, he always looks like he's having a blast out there, and he always looks like he loves that team before and after the game. So he gets my hot dog, man.
Those gray sweats are magical. Shout out to Barrett Davies on Facebook, recognizing how the nervous wreck we are when Hellebuck handles the puck. We feel you. We see you, bro, on Facebook. Thanks for the comment. So shout out goes to you. Benny, anything else you got to say to the people?
All I got to say is, have a good week. Be kind, be nice, stay safe, and go Canada, go.
And in the words of Rocky Balboa, it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Be safe, be kind, help each other out. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.